This morning I thought I would give my Tassimo My Way coffee machine a really good clean and take advantage of, if possible, cleaning the sensor again, which I have done before, but it was still a bit crazed and occasionally wouldn't pick up coffee pods correctly. So as you can see, it's all fully disassembled at the moment. It was actually surprisingly easy to do. You do need a few tools. I find these butter knives with a very thin metal edge really useful. To pop the parts apart, you need a Torx screwdriver bit, a T10, and then I found a small flathead screwdriver and then a longer flathead screwdriver really helped to pop some of the little plastic tabs that hold it all together apart. As you can see, you don't actually have to take any of the pipes with a plastic cable tie on holding them in place apart. You can instead unscrew this plastic unit from the bottom of this, which is the bit that goes on the top, and that allows you very carefully to, once you've unclipped them, to thread the wires out through a hole which is at the back here. I'm not sure if you can quite see it. There we go, I can just see the hole at the back there. So it's fairly easy to do. It's this is the part that you pop off first, and actually it comes off fairly easily. What I'm going to do is slowly put it back together, and hopefully from that you'll be able to see how it was disassembled. So the first step was screwing the coffee sensor or coffee pod sensor back together. Just two screws, two Torx head screws. You have to remember to put the little rubber seal on first. You put that onto the sensor itself and then carefully put it in place. And then also I fitted the little rubber seal which is going to project through. If I come around the other side, you'll now see that sitting in place. There, you can just about see it. As I say, it looks just flush on the surface. And you see my sensor, I polished it up, but it's not perfect, but it's considerably clearer than it was. I just used the equivalent of a headlight polishing kit, just some 1,200 grit and then followed by 2,500 grit sandpaper and then a polishing compound. I suppose T-cut would perhaps work, something like that. Right, so next step will be to screw this component here back onto here and to feed the cables through that hole at the back and then reattach this pipe. This is the bit where it's going to get trickiest because the angle that this I suppose the top of the unit can sit is very restricted by the length of both the wires and the pipe at the back. So I made my first mistake, and that was to put this as a rubber seal onto this top unit first. As soon as I tried to put it together, it fell off. So instead I'm going to put it onto that, and then hopefully that will mean that it stays the way up. Alright, honestly that was a little bit fiddly, but it only took about 2 minutes, and it's now in place. We've got the two wires running out the back, and we have the unit all together at the front. Now the next step is to screw this piece of plastic onto this piece of plastic, which is helpfully hidden underneath. There's this little hole here, and that's where the Torx 10 screw goes. Having screwed it all together, or this top unit, we've now got to place this little piece of plastic back in. You see it just slides in place, like so. So that's really super easy, that bit. So now I've just reconnected this silicone tube, which I pulled off in order to take the top off, and then also this orange one here. Both of these just slide onto a plastic lug, so they're easy to put on and to remove, but it's important just to push them right on as far as they will go. Final step before attaching the top is to just align this metal spring into the tube that's attached to the lid. It's worth checking that the one at the bottom, which didn't become dislodged on mine when I disassembled it, is still in the correct place too. So I've now attached the top. All I have done is to carefully position it roughly in this position relative to this piece of plastic underneath, but a little bit further forward, and then just carefully slot it back in. There's no clips holding it in place, although there is on the inside this area of plastic here, which does have to slot into an area you can just about see there. There's no actual catches on it, it just slots into that position. This little catch here on the front here is one of three, but they're not linked to actually disassembling the entire top unit from the base. They are for disassembling or removing this front switch unit. Initially I took that off, but then it's only dangling on a wire and doesn't provide any benefit at all. So unless you have to replace this front fascia with the touch switch unit, I would not unattach it. The next and crucial step is to reattach the wires. We've detached them from two little thin wire sockets. One is there and one is here. And then there is a little plug and socket at the bottom here. You have to attach each of those. The plug socket works very easily, but these two little sockets, you'll discover when you detached it that you have to lift ever so carefully a little plastic tab upwards away from the circuit board on both of those. And then once that's lifted upwards, the little ribbon cable which is inside will be loose and you can carefully remove it. As you can see, I've now connected these two wires and I've pushed the little plastic tab back in to secure the ribbon cables. On the top cable, notice this white line running across the cable. That's actually on the cable itself, and that ensures that you know that it's pushed in to the socket deeply enough. The blue tab on the white wire doesn't have any such line, so you've got to be quite careful that you push that in all the way. And the plug socket, I'm guessing your wires will be the same colours, but there's only one way that plug can fit in that socket. It's asymmetric, so you're all good with that one. These two ribbon cables though, the little gold coloured tabs, which are where the circuit is joined up to, are on the outside edge of the circuit board, so they face away from the camera at the moment. So the final step is to reattach this back plate. So what you do is you basically pop it down onto this little section at the bottom, and then you're going to just carefully lift and slot it in the sides at the tops, and then you just push it in at the back. So I'm going to do that now. Right, so I just carefully squeeze that into place using my fingers. I say exactly as I said I had to do it. The final parts come in was at the top. This is the part where there's two clips, roughly there and there. You probably saw when it was apart, which is where you just lift gently to expand this gap to then sort of slide the unit out backwards in the sort of direction that my hand is pulling now. It's a little bit fiddly to get apart, but there's no clips and catches to break like on the previous model I owned at least.